So, we have bad news and we have good news. Starting with the bad news, North Dakota has um, passed a near total abortion ban. They've made exceptions, and the exceptions are the life of the mother. Okay, that's good. Or rape or incest, which again, okay, good. But the rape and incest is only up to 6 weeks, which they've it's been pounded into everybody at this point that most women do not know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. And even if they did, abortion is medical care, so it's a process. It's not like you go to the coroner clinic and immediately get an abortion. There's a consultation to make sure that women know what the heck they're getting themselves into, just like any other medical procedure. You do not go into any type of surgery without knowing any procedure, without knowing what could happen. There is a consultation. It's not something that people will just, it's like, oh, you're here for an abortion, great, and not ask questions. That is not how any of this works. So that pushes you past 6 weeks just by that. Even if you were to get an appointment right then and there, it's not going to be an abortion right then and there. So there's that. And then there's, like I said, most women don't even know. Women have irregular periods. Most women do. Some women can skip periods, and it's totally regular. It's like, oh, I skipped my period, okay. And it's not until other symptoms hit that they're like, wait a minute. So it's not like women know the second that they're pregnant. So there's that. And then there is this is healthcare, and we do not regulate any other healthcare. So how about instead of passing bills that restrict abortion, maybe keep your nose out of the medical care of other people, because that's what this is. It is medical care. It's not like I swear so many people still think that abortion is like, oh, I'm pregnant. I don't feel like being pregnant, so I'm just going to go get an abortion. No. There is thought put into this. I mean, granted, there probably are some women who are like, oh no, I don't want to be pregnant because of, a stupid reason. I'm not going to say that doesn't happen. Maybe it does. But for the most part, there is a good reason. And it's really not up to you to decide what is a good reason. Because the idea that women just do that because they're afraid that their figure is going to be changed. I mean, there are some women who probably think that. I think the trainer from The Biggest Loser was actually like that. But then that's fine. She doesn't want to get pregnant. She doesn't want to get pregnant. But she probably also does something like, oh, take birth control. And whether, and if she were to get pregnant, maybe she would have an abortion for that reason. But guess what? It's none of your damn business if she were to choose that. So yeah, it's this medical care, and it's none of your business. And if you didn't know, the unintended consequence is that women who had miscarriages can't get the care that they need because that would require an abortion. If you did not know that, then you most certainly do not have the right to tell women that whether they can have an abortion. or have any opinion about being pro-life and saying that women should not be allowed to have an abortion, because you obviously have no idea what an abortion is. You have been told some stupid shit story about how, you know, I don't know, that the fetus's life is sacred or something, which then why allow for rape and incest? Because how is a fetus life any less sacred then? But this is just a way to control women. It really is. It is not anything else, because there's absolutely no reason to do this. It's not, this doesn't happen with any other medical procedure. So I just don't see why this is even being talked about. And generally it's being talked about by people who have no idea what goes into having an abortion. They definitely don't know the situation that a woman finds herself in, because a lot of these women are women who have a family, who are married, have a family, and for some reason cannot afford another child. Who are you to tell them that, that they just have to deal with that? And are they going to regret? Yeah, I had a coworker who did regret that after so many years. She still regretted it. But she also understood that at the time that was the right decision. Yet she felt that she felt bad about it. But so this is a heart-wrenching decision for a lot of these women. And for you to come up to them and smugly tell them that they're killing their baby and making their lives even, making them feel even worse than they already do, this is just not helpful. And then to say, oh, I didn't know that you can't get the health care you need because you had a miscarriage. Well, maybe that should have been your clue to shut up about it. Because if you don't understand healthcare and you don't understand that, then maybe you shouldn't be telling women what to do with their bodies. Because I wonder how many of those women who go to abortion clinics and get harassed are there because A, they're having an abortion because something went wrong, or B, it's financial issues and they really wanted this baby, but they can't afford the baby. Or C, they had a miscarriage and now they have to get the dead fetus out. None of those reasons makes a woman feel good if someone is in their face saying that you're killing your baby. Guess what? In the case of a miscarriage, it's already dead. And you're saying, "Oh, you're going to kill your baby." No. That just makes you look like the asshole you are. You do not get the right to tell women that what they're doing is wrong when you don't know why they're doing it to begin with. And like I said, even if it is for a really petty, stupid reason, that's still on them. They still get to decide what happens to their bodies. And ultimately, that is their decision, because this is their health care. Whether it's not just physical health, it's mental health. And when people say that, oh, when the life of the mother is at risk, what life are we talking about? Her physical life? Because that's all they're talking about. If she could die, that is what that means. It doesn't mean, oh well, she could this could happen, she could end up with this or that or the other thing. I don't know all the side effects to childbirth or to pregnancy, so I'm not going to even try. But maybe it's going to be something that, oh, if she ends up with giving birth, she'll end up with I don't know, this illness or that disease or deformity or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, I do not know. Which is why I do not go around telling women that they should give birth when they don't want to. Um so yeah. Yeah. If it was news to you that to get rid of a miscarriage, and that was news to me when I first started, it makes total sense, but it was news to me. Which, but then again, I never ever told women that they need to, you know, go through a pregnancy or that they have to get an abortion. It's none of my damn business. I could, if it's a friend of mine, I can discuss it with them if they want to, but that's as far as I can go because I'm not the one who's in the situation of being pregnant. But there is good news, sort of. Vermont and Washington took steps to protect the availability of medication abortions if a lawsuit challenging federal approval for the drug mifepristone prevails in court. So that's good that Vermont and Washington are not raging assholes and that they understand that women need access to this medication, but it should not be even coming to that. Now, let us talk about why this is even happening. So there was a challenge to mifepristone claiming that the FDA didn't adequately consider side effects or whatever bullshit reason that was brought up. And the judge sided with this person who, my understanding is, didn't have any standing. But, so now, first off, let us take the example of Ron Johnson, who has decided that he doesn't trust the FDA as far as he can throw them because of what happened with the COVID vaccines, which he is treating like there's a mass epidemic of horrible side effects to the COVID vaccine. So he doesn't trust the FDA. Okay, let's pretend that that's a reasonable stance. It's not, but let's pretend for a second it is. So you don't trust the FDA. This drug has been approved for 23 years. Women have been using this drug for 23 years, and never once have you heard about any horrible side effects that could cause it to be recalled. Not one. Now, so even if you didn't trust the FDA at the time that they made their ruling, that you come up with some bullshit reason as to why their research was flawed. Even if you could do that, we have 23 years of case studies to prove that this is safe and effective. So even if the original studies were flawed, at this point, we see that it is safe and effective. So even if the FDA made a mistake at the time, obviously whatever mistake they made is not harming anybody. So there's that. And then there's this fact that these people who probably flunked freshman biology, let alone took anything above that, like chemistry, which I didn't do, but, I didn't flunk freshman biology either. But to decide that they know better than all of these scientists. And like I said, this is not just available. Abortion drugs are not just available in this country. They're available in Europe too. I don't know. They might actually use a different abortion drug. Um, because we have a two pronged abortion drug, whereas I think they just have one. I might be wrong on that. But the fact is that we've had this for 23 years and you've never once heard of an adverse reaction to the drug. So if you've never heard of an adverse reaction, then even if the original study was flawed, the fact that it's been used for this long um and it's not harmed anyone, I'd say that's a successful drug. So I failed to see how this could be recalled at this point. Not to mention the chilling effect that if this were to go through, God knows what other drugs they could do this to. I honestly can't think of anything at the top off the top of my head where they might decide, oh well, we got rid of mifepristone. Let's see what else we can get rid of, because I'm sure they'll come up with something. Hell, um, they might find a reason to say that the birth control pill should be recalled for some bullshit reason. So, this is not going to end with the abortion pill. This could, who knows what other drugs, birth control pills, who knows what else. Probably nothing that affects men, but who knows what other drugs are going to attack. Most likely birth control, but who knows what else they're going to attack, because if they've decided that they can overrule the FDA, which the FDA has its own recall process, which doesn't involve asking a non-biologist to non-scientist to rule on it. They have a process. So even if this drug should be recalled, there is a process which is not going to a court and demanding that they recall the drug. That is not how it works. And like I said, God knows what other drugs that they would feel emboldened to go after, because they've decided that they know better than the FDA about these drugs. I remember, I think this was in the 80s, when there was a recall of I don't know what drug. I know that there was a Tylenol tampering, but once an issue comes into light, the FDA recalls these things. They don't just say, "Oh, well, our research doesn't indicate that, so all these deaths, we're going to ignore it." That's not how this works. If they have a reason to recall a drug, they will recall it. These people act like science doesn't self-correct. Yeah, science makes mistakes. The FDA makes mistakes. But you know what happens when it's discovered they make a mistake? They correct it. That is the way science works, and that's the way the FDA works. So even if they made a mistake, but they didn't, because nobody has ever said that there was something wrong with this drug. So that is, I think, all I have for this video, and I will see you guys next time.